I want to do a quick video on luminosity masks in Lightroom Classic. And I'm doing this because several of my friends didn't even know that this tool existed and had been opening their photos in Photoshop and using luminosity masks in Photoshop to do just very minor details, which could be a pain in the butt. And it's really helpful to have this tool built into Lightroom. Now, as far as I know, it's only in Lightroom Classic. And that is one of the things that has prevented me from switching to the newer Lightroom. I really like using range masks in Lightroom Classic as well as color calibration, and I need those two tools available to me in the newer Lightroom before I make the transition. So if you use the newer Lightroom, I don't think that this exists and I can't help you. However, this Lightroom Classic version is also included with your Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, so you can give it a try if you want to, or you can kind of maybe use both editions of the software. It's really up to you. But anyway, this is actually pretty easy. So I'm going to use this photo right here, and I'm going to put one of my nighttime presets on it. And you can see here that the area in the middle here is still pretty covered in shadows, where this here has got some street lights on it and this is just color. So I want to sort of remove the shadows just from this dark area, and this is very easy to do. So you come over here to the right, select the graduated filter button, and then you create a graduated filter that covers the whole image, and you can check it by hitting this box right here. And then you come over to the selection tool here called range mask, and you select luminance. Now you're going to want to select the luminance mask so you know how much of the image you're actually, or what the luminosity range is you're selecting. Now once you select that, you can use the slider. You go more to the left to select the shadows, and then you go more to the right to select the highlights, or you can adjust both of them to sort of pinpoint a very specific area. I'm going to go with about 50, and then we're going to remove some shadows from it. So then we're going to uncheck this box so we can see the colors again, and then anything in this sort of light gray box, this is dark and then this is a lighter gray box, is available to be adjusted in the luminosity range that you just selected. So we can go here, just remove some of the shadows. Now you can see it really didn't do much, so we can get a little bit more granular, and I'll show you that in a second. When we can remove a little bit of the blacks here, maybe kind of pull it out a little bit, maybe just barely adjust the exposure, and now we can see that it looks a lot different. However, it's still very shadowy there in the middle, which isn't a bad thing. It all depends on how you want the image to look. So if you want to get a little bit more granular, what you need to do is you scroll down here again, turn on your luminosity mask so you can see the areas, and then you go up to brush, scroll down to erase, and this is where it gets confusing because these things aren't really self-explanatory. Okay, so now that we're on erase, we have this giant here. You can change the brush size by just scrolling or two-finger scrolling on a trackpad, and then you just erase away parts that you don't want. So I'm going to just erase everything but the bend in the road there. And sorry, it's not perfect. This is just for the point of showing you in this little mini tutorial thing here. Otherwise I would spend a lot more time making this very precise. Okay, so now we've just got this area. We go back to edit, turn off our mask, and now we can see a lot more of it happen just in that area of the image. Now that, to me, is a lot easier than opening in Photoshop, waiting for it to open in Photoshop, selecting your luminosity mask and your range, and editing when you just needed this one specific area to be a little bit lighter. And then you can make that adjustment, turn off your graduated filter, and now you can go about editing however you want with the rest of this image. And that's how you do a luminosity mask in Lightroom Classic.